you will find little joy in your command, but with luck, you will find the strength to do what needs to be done. Kill the boy, Jon Snow. Winter is almost upon us. Kill the boy, and let the man be born.
Winter is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mitch, and this is ChampMind Studios, where we break down mindset and habits from some of the most successful people in the world. I'm talking athletes, fighters, business owners, CEOs, authors, you name it. Leaders from all different walks of life. We figure out what makes them great from a psychological perspective, and we take some of those skills, we take some of those lessons, we apply them to our own lives, our own goals, as we look to unleash greatness. And you're probably wondering what that Game of Thrones scene at the start of this video is all about and how that's going to relate to what I'm going to be talking about here today. And here's the thing, guys. With just a couple of days left before 2024, as we're putting pen to paper, as we're being very intentional with our goals, with our resolutions, and setting everything down that we want to accomplish, I think before we get to the point where we're going to look ahead, we need to look back, and we need to be very honest with ourselves. So let's rewind the clock. December 31st, 2022. We did the same thing last year. We took the paper out. We took the iPhone, the iPad out. We wrote down a list of everything we want to do in the new year. We wanted to take over the world. And maybe some of us did. But I guarantee if you're watching this video, you probably didn't. You probably maybe accomplished some of those things, accomplished some of those goals, but you probably left some of those things on the table. Why was that? Now, look, here's the thing, guys. We can sit here and list out a million different excuses as to why we fell short last year. We can sit here and list out a million different reasons as to why we left some of our goals on the table last year. But the fact of the matter is, we got nobody to blame but ourselves. Ourselves and our own day-to-day habits. What are we doing every single day, or what aren't we doing for that matter, to level up in our lives? Everybody watching this video, myself included, has at least one bad habit that they've been trying to break for years, and they're conscious that it's a bad habit. They are conscious that it is not a constructive thing for them to be doing, but subconsciously, they continue to do it. And in this video today, guys, we're going to talk about some mindset hacks that can help us break the cycle, help us break the chain, help us kill the boy, and finally let the man be born. Because that's what our bad habits represent, regardless of our age. You know, listen, I'm 32 years old. You might be in your 20s, you might be in your teenage years, or hell, you might even be older than me. But our bad habits represent the child in us. They represent the little boy or the little girl that used to have parents that would tell us, don't stay up late at night, don't eat junk food all the time, don't procrastinate, do your homework. You know, all the things that our parents used to tell us that by the time we became adults and we gained the freedom to be able to do whatever the hell we wanted to do, most of us subconsciously develop these bad habits. And we know that they're not constructive. We know that they are holding us back from truly being the person that we want to be. And we've tried by willpower alone to break the habits, to break these cycles, and we keep failing. And the reason for that is willpower alone is not going to do the job. It's not. How many of you, and I'll use the example of, poor diet, trying to create a new, healthier lifestyle for yourselves. How many of you have tried to cut out sugar or cut out, dairy or whatever it is, cut out a specific thing out of your diet, and you have tried on willpower alone to develop this new, healthier lifestyle? And it probably lasts for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two at that. And then you revert back to your old habits. You start eating the cake again. You start eating the cookies again. You bring the Oreos out because you are so fixated on resisting the urge, resisting the temptation, resisting the dopamine release, that is all you're focusing on. And you're able to do it for a while because anybody can resist something for a while, but eventually bad habits come back. Bad habits come back to the surface. So I'm going to let you guys in on a little mindset hack that I picked up on recently that has helped me start to destroy some of the bad habits that are in my life. And, I won't say they're totally gone, but I've made a lot of progress. And it really comes down to self-awareness and meditation. And here's what I mean when I talk about self-awareness, because when we think about our bad habits, we're looking for a quick fix. We're looking for a short-term dopamine release, some type of a pleasurable experience, something that's going to make us feel good in the short term, whether it's eating junk food, whether it's playing a video game, whatever it is. And I'm not telling you can't do those things in bits and pieces, but if this is a destructive habit of yours, you want to pay close attention to this, because that's what we're looking for when we engage in those activities. When you become aware of that, when you become aware right before you're about to engage in whatever the activity, whatever the habit is, become aware of why you're craving it, and you think about and you start really, really becoming aware of what you're feeling right now, what's stressing you out, what's going on in your life in that exact moment, in that present moment that is causing you to want to do this. You would be amazed at how over time, little by little, you become less interested in doing it. Because what happens is you realize that your bad habits have become nothing more, nothing less than an adult binky. Like a baby putting a binky in his mouth. That's what your bad habits are to you. Subconsciously, whenever you're getting stressed out, whenever things are getting chaotic in your life, subconsciously we tend to go what is easily accessible to us. What can give us that quick release? What can give us that quick dopamine fix to take our minds off of the current situation? So we go to that. We go to whatever the bad habit is, right? Whether it's scrolling through Instagram, whether it's the examples I gave before of junk food and video games. We go to that. We put the binky in our mouths. And when you become aware of that, when you realize that that's all that's going on here, you tend to become less and less interested in actually doing it. And I can tell you from personal experience that this is incredibly powerful, because you start to realize you don't actually want to do these things. I mean, you really don't. You're only doing them because you're either stressed, bored, depressed, whatever emotion you're feeling that is making you subconsciously do these things. I mean, think about all the times you've gone to the fridge and you've got something out to eat, you're not even hungry, right? I mean, so many of us have done that. And it's the same thing, regardless of whatever the habit is we're trying to break. Whatever it is, it's the same thing. And it's amazing at how much easier it then becomes when you become aware of that to not only break the bad habit and leave it behind you, but replace it with something better, something that is actually going to be constructive to your life and constructive to you leveling up. I came across this just through my own research and trying to break my own bad habits, because, for years I was just trying to use willpower. And like I said, willpower alone is only going to get you so far. It's only going to last a short period of time before you break into your temptations and resist, you can't resist the urges anymore, right? So I came across this video from this guy who used to be a monk, and he was talking about how they teach monks to break bad habits. And let's unpack that for a second, because when we think about some of the most disciplined human beings in the world, I mean, look no further than a monk, right? But, you got to realize these are people too. These are human beings that have their own desires, their own temptations, and they all learn how to overcome them. So how do they do it? And so what he talks about in the video, he says they don't teach monks to quit their bad habits cold turkey, because they know and realize that's not going to work. In the beginning, when they're first getting indoctrinated into the lifestyle, into leaving essentially their old lives, their old habits behind them, they teach them to actually still engage in their bad habits, but while they're doing them, to become extremely aware of what's going on in their body, what's going on in their mind, what is actually driving them to do these behaviors. And he said it was amazing and how quickly it then became to quit the bad habit. I started applying that to my own life and some of the bad habits that I'm trying to break free from. And I mixed it with meditation. So anytime I felt the urge or a desire to engage in an activity that I consciously knew was not constructive to me in any way, shape, or form, I would sit there in meditation, and I would take just 10 minutes to reflect and become aware of my own thoughts, become aware of what I was feeling. And the more I started doing this, I really stopped wanting to engage in these habits, because I realized, like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I want to be successful way more than I want to waste my time and get a quick dopamine fix because I'm stressed out, because something's chaotic right now in my life and I want to distract myself. And it became a lot easier to get in control of these habits. And that's really the key word here, guys, is control. Because when you learn how to control your habits, that's when the magic starts to happen. I can't sit here and say that I've totally destroyed and killed every single bad habit in my life. I think I'm working towards that. But the control aspect of it has gotten a lot easier with this simple mindset hack. So give it a shot, guys. The next time you find yourself getting ready to cheat on your diet, or you find yourself, getting ready to neglect your training, neglect your studying, and sit down and play video games, or sit down and scroll on your iPhone for several hours, take a second, take 10 minutes at that, and reflect, meditate, become self-aware. And I'm telling you, over time, it's going to become a lot easier to leave those things behind you. So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and until next time, let's unleash greatness. Boom!